Hey everybody, there's been a lot of low tier tanks around lately on NA West, partly because of the Japanese heavies coming out, partly because there's been a few missions involving low tier tanks, most recently the B2 and the BTSV. At times like this, it's often fun to bring out a ridiculously overpowered low tier and just stomp around wrecking people. It's probably not very nice, but it's a lot of fun. And so I decided I would bring out my Su-76I, which is an extremely rare tank. It was actually sold in the store for a while, but it was only in the store for a couple of hours before Wargaming realised how hideously overpowered it was and pulled it from sale. There were only a few people lucky enough to get it in the NA server, because I think it was on sale mostly during night time for the North American time zones. And it happened to be pretty much middle of the day for me, so I was able to pick one of these up. Anyway, the Su-76I is basically a downscaled Su-85I. It's a Panzer III chassis with the 80mm of frontal armor that entails, and the 76mm gun also seen on the Tilda and the T-34. Which, at tier 3, is extremely powerful. This thing will pen any tank you'll see without any trouble whatsoever. And it actually has somewhat decent rate of fire on it. The gun handling on the move is terrible, but the accuracy from a static position is not too bad. The vehicle's mobility is quite good. It's built on a Panzer III chassis after all, and its armour is really strong in its tier, however not strong enough to survive a cruiser Mark III at close range. This is where I messed up. I very nearly got myself killed. Thankfully, I was able to finish that cruiser before we could reload and hit me again. So, like the 2J, although you are impenetrable to a lot of low tier tanks, there are things you have to watch out for in this. Probably more so than the 2J, especially since you don't have side or rear armour, whereas the 2J just is an armoured box. But the strong front armour on the Su-76I can quite often catch people unawares and trip them up. Combined with a gun that's able to delete most tier 3 tanks in 2 or 3 shots at most, it makes it a really strong tank. It is basically the Object 704 of its tier. Thanks to the good mobility and the good frontal armour, and also the relatively quick aiming time for this tier, the Su-76I makes quite a good assault tank. Just drive it into people, firing it as you go, like you see me doing here. This is the same kind of role I use a lot of my TDs in. I find it more enjoyable than sitting in a bush at the back of the map sniping. And so, my TD stable tends to bias towards either very mobile or very well armoured TDs. You can see there where the cruiser was able to get shots through me, straight through my front. Most of the other tanks in this match would have struggled to make those shots. Again, being a Panzer III, this does have a lot of front armour for its tier. I mean, even the Panzer III has quite a bit of front armour for its tier. But it's a pretty interesting little vehicle, and pretty rare to see out in the wild. If you see one of these, the best way to deal with it is not be in front of it. The combination of good armor and good gun mean that it will probably kill you before you kill it. If you want to deal with it, you should probably attack it from the sides and rear. Its traverse time isn't bad though, so don't expect it to take forever to turn around. You can circle these in low tier tanks because most of them are so quick, but if you get a flanking maneuver on this guy, he will turn around very quickly and start dealing with you. Otherwise, I guess there's not really much to say. Like I said, it is pretty much the same tank as the Su-85I, just with the smaller 76mm gun instead of the 85. But otherwise, they play more or less the same. The design is more or less the same. You know, there's not much to it. It's a Panzer III chassis with an armoured box on top and a big gun put in it. That's all there is to this little thing. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. As ever, I'll see you on the next one.